So we're out here in Warren today. A client called us from Fort Myers, I believe, said, hey, I got this property here. There's a bunch of squatters. There's a bunch of issues going on with it. Can you guys clear it, get an estimate on it for me and everything else? But when we got here, we noticed that there was a judgment on the property for $73,000 from apparently an old insurance claim years ago. So the owner's trying to deal with that now. I guess his management company didn't even tell him about it, didn't tell him it was going on, anything like that. We're gonna go inside, we're gonna take a look at it, we're gonna write the estimate up, and then maybe we'll get some resolution on what's going on with this judgment. It looks like the city now is trying to seize his property. We'll see what's going on. I mean, you can tell these doors were kicked in already. And we're in. Now, like I said, this door was kicked in previously, so the fact that he just did that is not a big deal. We'll close it back up, put the master lock back on it. Obviously, if it was a finished door, we wouldn't do that. Tristan might. Tristan's an animal. I don't know what Tristan would do. So this is clearly the common laundry space.
You want to show my other side?
Oh, there you go. Oh, it matches, nice. So Tristan will take that home with him and add it to his collection. This does not provide us access to any of the other units. Obviously, this would be part of the estimate, just getting this back to code. Like, they have a GFCI there, but that's not bolted to the ground, I can tell from here. So stuff like that, code compliance stuff. It's a little old, it's a little outdated, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units, plus common, plus something else. Oh, the boilers. So it must be a common heat source here as well. So hopefully he can get back on track with the city and they don't take his property, because the last thing you want to see is the city take somebody's property. And I don't think it would ever get that far, because the judgment's for $70,000. Even the way this thing sits, it's probably worth over $100,000. And he owns it free and clear. So he could always put a loan or refinance or something and just pay the judgment off. It would suck short term, but long term, real estate's worth a ton. 8 units producing income is worth a ton. If you got to take the hit to keep the building, you take the hit. So it looks like Tristan got us in unit 5. In the meantime, I think Frank's on the way. I think Frank's been talking to the owner and might have a little bit of an update or something for us. So we're gonna check this unit out, and eventually we're gonna catch up with Frank, look at some of the exterior stuff, but let's check out this first unit. Actually, I would bet this thing's probably worth over 100 grand. The way it sits. For 8 units, if he wanted 100 grand, I'd give him 100 grand today for it. So I know it's underpriced, which means he could easily pay off the judgment, no problem. So it looks like these are efficiency studio type. So you've got a kitchen over here. Definitely would have been a studio. This is a smaller kitchen. This used to be, from what I understand, an old big house, and eventually got sectioned off into units when the population outgrew the city and we had to house people. You can see telltale sign of vacant property, all the fly strips. It looks like, fortunately for us, if it's 8 cookie cutter units, it's gonna be a pretty easy estimate. At the same time, this is prime for a squatter because it's all brick, it's all block. So if you close this door, especially coming into winter, this is gonna be very well insulated. I'm gonna open that for the light, but he was worried about squatters. I can see why. Obviously the windows were busted in. Obviously all the doors, the first one was kicked in. This one, busted open. But as far as an estimate, it's really easy, right? We need to repaint the whole thing. We need to redo the kitchen cabinets and sink. We need to put in a little bit of new electrical. You can see the boiler there, or radiator. Big closet here. It doesn't need all that much. A lot of cleaning, a lot of paint, replacing some cabinets and some shelves. Same in the bathroom, tile the shower, new vanity, new toilet, but overall it's not in terrible shape. Now, some people might complain about the size of the unit or the fact that these are small units or whatever, but you gotta think about one thing, that keeps things affordable. This is gonna be likely a single person, maybe a young couple, maybe an elderly person on their own. A smaller, efficient unit like this, they're called efficiency units, really help keep the cost down, keep it affordable for people to have a place to live. Is it 8 of the same thing, do you know?
No, I mean, I tried those ones with these 3 masters, and at least that one that we first opened didn't open, but I mean, one of them opened up this one, the other one opened up these 2.
Oh, so we can't even get a minimum wall?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't want to kick all the doors in. So it's super important. He said he never got any updates from his property manager, never got final invoice or anything from the insurance company, so none of this got dealt with. That's why when you're dealing with out-of-state or out-of-city investors, it's super important to have a good system to deal with them. A system like Jobber. Jobber just actually released some new features too. They've got a tap to pay, where you can take your chip on your card, just click it to the thing, pay your bill. That would have been perfect here, right? If he just paid the contractor or paid the insurance company, quick tap to pay, he wouldn't have a lien. The next thing is AI. So it's got an AI feature where it says, hey, reminder, you need to talk to this guy. Hey, reminder, you got a quote that hasn't been approved yet. maybe you should follow up with them. They also got a new marketing system. I don't think marketing would have helped this problem here because you don't want to shout about this kind of stuff, right? But he said it's cool for us to make a video on it. Now, a system like Jobber is super important for a business like this. Give your client updates and all the other things we talked about. So if you click the link down in our description, you'll get a free trial of Jobber. You'll also get 20% off if you sign up for a plan. They've been a great sponsor to the channel. If you need a system, you're looking at a system, whatever, give them some love, give them some support. Anyway, let's check out this other unit, and then I've got a legal update that we'll give you guys here at the end. But it didn't open any of these?
Just the one with the lockbox on it.
Okay. So the owner said he got no notices, had no awareness, anything. He owns the property free and clear, so there's absolutely no reason you would let a property that you own free and clear get that far into the process unless you didn't get a notice. Because he could sell it, he could refinance it, he could do whatever and make more than that. The other thing you see in here, which is interesting, the management company did have squatters, they said, and this is a good sign of that. When you're a squatter, you may not necessarily be able to get the utilities and everything else on, but you can usually get electric. So gas, who knows? Water, who knows? But electric, you can usually transfer to your name. So what they'll do is they'll get these little heaters. This is the second unit we've seen a heater in, so they're probably squatting in here too. And these heaters will more than enough to heat this small space. Now, it looks like he's got 8 identical units, if I had to guess. Little kitchen there again, little studio here, big closet there, small bathroom there. And these are really your efficiency or transitioning type apartments, right? Somebody who's just getting off the street, somebody who's just got back from the military, somebody who, you know, doesn't have a lot of income, maybe somebody who's young and got out of a bad situation, moved away from home, something like that. This is a big transitioning space. So they'll stay here 6 months, maybe a year. They'll get their life together, get a job, all that, and then they'll find a nice place to stay or a bigger place to stay. But imagine 8 of these at a pretty affordable rate. That's a whole lot better than 8 people sleeping in the street, right? Even though they're small and they're not perfect, and they're not what you'd want to live in. This is not much smaller than my first apartment when I first started doing this. I had probably 1 extra room worth of space, so maybe like 150 more square feet. You know, everyone's got to start somewhere, right? Some people start here, some people start at a 3-bedroom house their parents bought them. It just depends. We got Frank. He's gonna measure out all the driveway and the parking and the concrete and look at the roof and all that other stuff. But we got a little bit of a legal update. We're gonna look at that and turn over the full exterior estimate too. So what were you looking at? I mean, obviously the gutters.
There's no trip hazards, but
Well,
yeah, there is.
yeah, well,
The
in
driveway
back,
there is.
the city, I'm sure, is gonna make him pave this or get new gravel, one or the other, for the
You
cert.
may be able to top it, but
I would pave it. One-time expense.
yeah, then it's over. We can discuss that with him. If he does that, he might as well do the sidewalks because they've dropped,
Yeah, and that's all trip hazard.
and that's probably fills with water.
Well, I was gonna say water too, yeah. You wanna explain that? Why is it at the bottom of the brick there?
Because this is dropped, and see the gutter where the gutter is? So all that water comes off this flat roof and just pools here, and it's eroding underneath that concrete, and it's just slowly dropping. That's why it's dropped below.
So this is the height it started at.
You know, 4 or 5 inches, 5 inches almost.
That's a good 5-inch, 6-inch drop, and as it gets wet, again, keeps raining, freezing, thawing, it's just gonna get worse, which means water in the units,
And you don't want water to get underneath there.
which could be, this could end up being the unit that flooded,
that would make sense.
because one of them flooded, so
That's
yeah.
a lot of water that pools in there.
It would make sense that it was this one, which we still haven't been able to get access to them all yet. Clearly some kind of vent for,
Yeah, for heat. It's got to be a furnace in there.
yeah, even though they're all on a shared boiler system,
Well, that doesn't make sense because there's one on every unit.
unless that's where the radiator
Like
breathes.
the motel, you know, you see in motels or something like
Or it
that.
could just be defunct.
Yeah, there's a unit right there. You can see it.
A radiator?
No, like you know, like a motel, whatever. That's an exhaust. So it's got to be some sort of heat. This is crazy.
Yeah, look, it's a $73,000 judgment too. The insurance company never paid the contractor who fixed the flood, I guess.
Absolute water removal. Wow. So they're going to try and seize the property?
Yeah, but he's got a court hearing and he's like, look, there was a property manager involved. I have insurance. Insurance should have paid this. The property's worth more than that. I would just sell it and pay you. But I think he'll get the property
It
back.
goes to show, pay your contractors, you know. And if you have a dispute, work it out in court before it gets to this.
Well, or if you have a property manager, it's their job to be on top of that.
Yeah, just don't let it get to this point. Imagine if it was all done and completed and then you lose it for 70 grand.
Right? When it's worth probably double that.
Same here. Look at it dropped as well.
That's true. It is going all the way down the building,
So it might be a good time for him to address that at the very least.
especially before winter, because what happens in winter all the water is gonna get under there and it's gonna freeze and it's gonna expand. Then at the end of winter, it's gonna thaw and it's gonna contract. So it's gonna move the concrete more. But he gave us an update on the court situation. He was able to get another hearing to go back in front of him to say, look, you guys, this was an insurance claim. The insurance company is supposed to pay out on this. Here's all the records, the info, da 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 da. So it seems like he's gonna have a pretty good time just getting things sorted. The insurance company, if they haven't already, will have to pay the bill for this and he'll keep the property. With the good legal update that he's probably gonna be fine, recover the building, insurance will pay the claim, whatever. Now it makes sense to write up the full quote, exterior, all the problems, yada yada, and get it fixed. So if you wanna see another project like this that we looked at, click right here.